reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Happy Hearthstone podcast. I am your host, Josh Augustine, and this week I'm joined by Derek Fonts.
Dude, sup?
Dude, sup indeed. How are you doing, Derek?
Oh, I am super excited. We have a officially launched Hearthstone game.
Yeah, that's right. It just happened, I think, at the end of last week.
Yes, and it's live and it's exciting, and I'm happy to be here.
Me too. I'm really happy to be here. And I actually started noticing, I don't know if this came with the live patch or maybe I just was totally oblivious to it. I started noticing like a few new card effects, like little spell effects on cards.
Yeah, they seem. I feel like they keep throwing little new things in there every patch. The most noticeable one for me this patch is when the shaman summons a totem. There's like a little animation.
Yeah.
For the totems, which is sweet.
I fought a shaman for the first time since the patch yesterday, and that like blew my mind. When it first happened, I was like, "What is happening? Like, what is this card I've never seen before?"
Yep.
And it's like, "Oh, it's just Stoneclaw Totem. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's like the
really
stuff that
cool
doesn't
effect.
make the patch notes, right? Because it's just little stuff like that. But you'd be surprised how giddy we get about these little sparklies.
Yeah, it's fun because I mean we've been playing. It's cool because the game launched, right? But for those of us that have been playing for a while, the game essentially launched months ago.
Right.
And so this is like the little stuff we get to be excited about. Like, oh, the game actually is different now. Oh, there's little cool stuff like that.
Yeah, they could like add something to the the play mats where you like can drop another coconut from a palm tree, and we'd be all excited. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I remember how excited people got when it was now possible to get like 3 boots in the farm or something. There's like something wrong where like you could only get 3, but it's like, or you could only get 2, but it's so exponentially hard to get 3 that no one even saw it. But everyone was like, "Yeah, I could get 3 boots."
Yes.
Like we have something to aspire to now. Even if you have all the cards, all golden, you can at least still try and get 3 boots.
See, Josh, it's the little things in life.
It is the little things. That's what keeps it the happy Hearthstone.
Yes.
So one other cool thing that I thought was cool that came with the launch was the achievement to win 3 games and get the WoW mount.
Yes.
Have you? So I assume you've
Yeah.
already done this,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. It was the first day.
Okay, good man. Yeah, it's fun seeing a lot of my friends that don't play Hearthstone but they play WoW, or like I see them in there and they're like starting to get frustrated because they're like, this deck is so hard, I can't figure out how to do stuff, and like it's fun to like sit down, but they're like, because of that mount, they're so dedicated to and open to learning about the game. I get to sit down with them and be like, hey, you know what? We just last week built the best priest decks and the best druid decks with just free cards. I was like, which one do you like more? And my buddy Jimmy's like, well, priest sounds pretty cool. I was like, all right, you unlock priest tonight, and then we'll talk about what cards to put in. It's fun. I get to talk about Hearthstone now with more people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's exciting. I mean, I've been playing Blizzard games for forever, and every time there's a game launch, it's always like a new exciting thing for me. It's just there are a lot of what I'm playing these days. That's for sure.
Yeah, with Diablo 3 too. That patch is so good.
Yep. Yep. I leveled my guy. I started a monk and I leveled him up to 60 in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And
that
I'm
50% XP buff.
Yep. And I'm finding legendaries like pretty much every night, and most of them are usable. And I'm now I'm working on Pally power, or what is it called? Paragon power, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for Crusader class, man. That's gonna be so fun.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, plus, like, for me, I'm really excited about all the new game modes, like the adventure mode and rifts and all those kinds of stuff. I mean, I haven't heard anybody complaining yet, and this is exciting to see people excited about the Diablo games series again. It's one of my faves.
Yeah, and if you pre-order, just throwing this out there, if you pre-order the Diablo 3 expansion, or if you buy the collector's edition or whatever, you get Hearthstone packs. So,
wow. Really?
It's not, the value is not great, right? Because you're spending like $60 to get 3 Hearthstone packs or whatever it is. But hey, if you were going to buy it anyways, you at least get Hearthstone packs added on top of it, which is nice. Because they can't give you like a WoW pet, which is what they normally do, like a little vanity pet or something.
I did not know that, though. That's cool. So,
yeah.
I am pre-ordering. I'm just probably going to, I can't wait to get the new packs. I mean, 3 packs, I'll take it. That's 3 chances at opening a legendary.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so we've already kind of said why we're happy, but let's make it official. I'm happy. I'm extra happy because I just realized that this show is almost at its 1-year anniversary.
That is awesome.
Isn't that crazy? So we started on March 24th
Yep.
last year, 2013. We were technically the second Hearthstone podcast in existence. Rungar, who's now over at HearthPro, started a show and had one episode of just him talking for about 5 minutes before
Right.
we released our first episode. I know.
I
Like,
remember
was so,
that actually.
Yeah, I was really happy that there was another Hearthstone podcast, but I was so sad because it would have been cool to be the first one or whatever.
Right.
But now that his show is shut down, sadly, and he's over at HearthPro, we are the longest running. We're the first one to have our anniversary, so that's exciting.
Yeah, a couple of shows ago, you had talked about it, and they were saying you should have echo behind your voice when you're announcing this stuff. That's just, I mean, that does goes to show how awesome the show has been. It's been a pleasure being on the show, and it's great to have such an awesome community building around this card game, which is I've been playing so much of for the last few months. It's just awesome.
Yeah, the community has been really cool. Like the Google Plus community too is where like there's 2,000 people or something in it now that are talking about Hearthstone all the time. It's really exciting because now some of them are talking about wanting to try and form a tournament, like a Happy Hearthstone tournament.
People are like feverish for this stuff.
I know, and like I really want to do it. I just don't think I have the time to like coordinate it all.
Yeah,
and
but
I don't really.
You got the in, man. You got this huge community. They're gonna come calling.
So I'm wondering if there's like an easy way, like a special site or something that helps me manage that. I just can't, hunt down 30 people every week to find out how their games went,
Actually, to be honest with you, I do have friends who have built StarCraft tournament bracket websites before. It's literally pretty basic, but it allows people to upload. Well, I guess in StarCraft that you can ship your save files to this website, and then it automatically uploads them so people can watch the replays. They don't really have that feature yet in Hearthstone, but at least to even just trusting the people to say, hey, I won, Joe won, and here was the scores or something.
Yeah,
I could reach out and see if you're interested in.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
All right, so Derek, I'm sending out the call to you, and also if you're a listener and you want to help organize the tournament, please let me know if you have any ideas for ways to do it, or even if you just want to be a point of contact for people to help kind of get scores in. That would be awesome. So we'd love to set that up. I'd love to make the tournament, as big as we want, I guess, as many people as interested. That would be really fun. So I don't know, and we'll find a way to do prizes. If I have to buy packs or whatever I have to do, we'll get something. So there you go. I'll buy the Diablo expansion, and then
we'll give away all the free packs.
Give away the free packs. All right, Derek. So why are you happy this week?
Well, I gotta say I'm super excited because I almost exclusively play Arena, and it's kind of funny that I actually get to kind of showcase my really, really poor deck constructed builds tonight in the match-off we're gonna be playing later.
Don't downplay it. You're just trying to lull me so I'll make dumb moves.
Well,
I'm gonna beat him anyway, so I guess I'll just do this.
Yes, I play blue, black, and Magic, so I'm all sorts of full of sinister type of moves anyway. So anyway, but I am super excited because I completed, I guess, an Arena. I don't know what do you call that when you get 12 wins, but I had 12 wins in Arena.
Wow, how many losses?
2 losses, so it did take me right to the ropes, but it was crazy because by game 6 I had received my second loss, and didn't really expect much to happen after that. But then I went on a 6-game winning streak, which was just like it was exciting. It was, like I had people come in. It was, I might play a game like after hours at the office or something like that, and I had people coming by my office and watching and stuff like that. There was excitement and everybody's cheering and the pinnacle moment was towards the end. It wasn't the final game, but towards the end of the run, I was faced up again. I was playing a mage deck, which I have linked here in the show notes, and I was facing off against a mage as well, and that mage played Flame Strike 3 times on me, and I still won.
No.
And I still won.
Wow.
Yeah. That I after that I was like, I guess this deck's pretty good.
So you got to tell us what were like the key cards in the deck. What kind of made it so good?
So the thing that I like about the mage decks in general is it's got awesome opportunities for single like pinpoint removal. It's got control elements, and then obviously the best board sweep in the game. So whatever the opponents are throwing at you, you can kind of have some outs to deal with. But on top of that, I got a lot of creatures that I really find to be also powerful. Molten Giant, I have got this guy to work in Arena left, right, and center. Like this thing, it costs 20 mana to play, which obviously is ridiculous, but it costs 1 cheaper for every damage your hero's taken. So as you get into more trouble in the game, this card actually gets easier to play. Like there's been so many turns where it's turn 10, and I'll play 2 decently sized creatures and a Molten Giant on top of it, like maybe a Taunt and a Molten Giant and something else. And all of a sudden, I've stabilized and I've put a huge threat on the board, and if they can't respond to it, by then they're out of removal or whatever. I'm hitting them for 8 until they figure out what to do. Stuff like that causes all sorts of problems for the opponent. I was lucky enough to score a Karen Bloodhoof, which is a legendary creature in the arena. So that guy also did some serious work.
Nice.
He's I think a 4/5 legendary who, when you kill him, he comes back as a 4/5. Which is just, it's like that Harvest Golem, but like way bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Venture Co. Mercenary, that guy is awesome. He's fantastic. He's way overcosted, and I very rarely run into the issues where I can't cast my next creature because he's too expensive. And if that's the case, it just means that he's still alive to attack, so I really usually don't care about that downside.
Yeah, we've talked about him, I think, on a couple episodes recently, and more guests, because I didn't hear much talk about him up until like a month ago, and every guest since then has been singing this guy's praises.
Yeah, there's a couple key, you guys have recently gone over like Chillwind Yeti and the ogre dude, Bloodfist Ogre or whatever he is. Those big beefy beater vanilla guys, they're super boring, but what ends up happening with those super boring big beefy guys is that either they remove a card from your opponent's deck by having them play some premium removal, or they're going to have to do some serious, unprofitable trades to get those guys off the field. They're plain vanilla, but the size of those creatures are just so big that they are game changers.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
Awesome.
That's why that deck was working for me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, congrats. So how did you not have like blizzards or flame strikes? Did you not have any? Big AoE?
So I did. I had everything in terms of control and removal in this deck that I needed.
Okay.
I had a single copy of Blizzard. I had 2 copies of Flame Strike. So that right there digs me out of all sorts of problems in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I did have 2 copies of Fireball, which is pay 4 mana, deal 6 damage anywhere you want. So that's a finisher. It's premium removal. It's all sorts of awesomeness. I had Counterspell as a secret, so that gets rid of any
Nice.
like protects my minions. Like I play that Molten Giant and play a Counterspell, and they're like, now what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I had Emperor Cobra, which can be used as removal. I had Arcane Explosion, which can be used as removal. Arcane Missiles is all sorts of good in this deck. I had plenty of removal control, and then enough beef on the board to just win a lot of games.
Nice. Well, that's awesome, dude. Official congratulations.
Yay.
Well done.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, thanks. I have been using. I can give a quick shout out to the website arenamastery.com. They are an awesome website. They're basically what I need Blizzard to see and get into the game like as soon as possible, because this is what deck people or card game players love. Is they love to sit there and chew on data. And this what this site does is it allows you to upload the cards. Since there's no way to extract your information from the game, you have to kind of manually clack everything in, which is kind of tedious, but the value you get out of it is enormous. So basically you can clack in all the cards as you're picking them in your arena, and then as you play each game, you write that. You also upload a couple key elements of information. Who did I play against? Like what class? Did I win or not? And did I play first or not? And then based on that information, it can then, it shows you all sorts of stats, like here's your mana curve, here's your mana curve for just creatures and versus minions versus spells versus weapons. Here's your win ratio against hunters when you're playing as a mage, and all this kind of stuff. And it's great for like people who are really geeked out about like crunching the numbers. The other cool feature that this site does is it's not certainly a tell-all in terms of how good and powerful your deck's going to be, but it's just yet another indicator, and it's kind of something interesting to measure from arena run to arena run. Is it has this thing called dust value, or DV, for your deck. And what they do is they say, all right, given the 30 cards that you've uploaded into your arena, if you were to disenchant everything, how much dust would you actually get from disenchanting them? So it kind of like says, oh, how many legendaries, how many epics, how many rares do you have? And it weights all that stuff according to the dust value. So you can kind of compare, well, hey, I did awesome with this deck, and oh, it had a high dust value, or maybe that's one indication as to why the deck is performing well. Or vice versa.
That's interesting. Yeah, because if you have a real low dust value and still do well, then you could feel even better about yourself.
Yeah, it actually tells you a lot, because it tells you, hey, with this low dust value deck, there must be a lot of commons in here that are doing a lot of work for me in order to achieve that success. Yeah. So you can really, it's not like the higher the number, the better you're gonna do. It still comes down to a lot of other factors, but it's just another indicator to kind of take into consideration when you're evaluating the power of your deck.
Awesome. Well, you've done enough intimidating to me, Derek. I feel like
you just wait.
It's time to deck battle. Now that I know that you're just perfect at this,
exactly.
You've had a perfect arena run, and I haven't yet.
There you go.
So it's a deck battle episode, which I'm super excited about. We do these deck battle episodes about once a month. Every other episode we try and do. This is where the guest host brings on their favorite deck onto the show, and then they break it down for you. They tell you what cards they put in it, how it works, why they like playing it, all that sort of stuff. And then Derek and I are going to do battle in a best-of-3 series live on the show. The big catch is that I'm going to be using the current reigning champion deck of the show, the last deck that a guest host brought onto the show and won with. Right now, the original deck is still the champion. This blows my mind.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Dan's Hunter Beastmaster deck was way ahead of its time, shall we say. Because, like, Beastmaster Rush got famous, like, 2 months after Dan. Because the original date, Dan brought this on the show, October 24th was when we published it. So that's, like, 5 months ago. That's half of a year ago. Dan's deck has been the reigning champion of the show. It's beaten off 3 challengers already. Beat off Aggro Warlock, Secret Mage, Muhammad Ali Shaman. If you want full details on what Dan's deck is and how you can build it, all that good info is on episode 20. That's when we first introduced it. But of course, Derek brought on his own deck to fight with today to try and stop it from beating 4 challengers to the throne. He's put together a full deck list as well, along with some great commentary for the deck about why he picked every card and what cards you can swap out if you don't have all the same cards that he does, so that you can recreate it too and try and do as well as he does if he beats me. If not, let's just trash on Derek's deck and no one even bother looking at it.
Exactly. Yeah, I am hedging this entire battle because I am not a construct. I run away and shriek in fear when it comes to constructed battles. I play limited exclusively in Magic, and I have hinted at the fact that I've tried constructed decks and have realized that this is just not the game for me.
All right, well, I've looked through your deck list a bit, and it looks pretty solid to me, so I wouldn't talk it down too much, Derek.
I don't, I'm just not getting any hopes up. We'll see. I mean, I feel like I can play tight, and, you never know and what happens from there. It does have ways to win, that's for sure.
All right.
So let's get into that.
That's the first question. It's all right. So before people start rushing out to build this deck that you apparently hate,
yes,
let's tell them what it's about.
Okay, so basically, I built the deck. Well, I built a bunch of different decks. I wanted to play Paladin because Paladin hasn't been used on the show yet, and I wanted to experiment a little bit with Paladins just to see, are they really powerful? Am I bad at playing Paladins, or am I good at playing Paladins? I think it'd be fun to see what that's like. So I went out and I said, what do Paladins like to do? There's a couple different angles that Paladins like to come at the game. Obviously, with their hero power, you pay 2 mana and you can summon a 1/1 minion. Being that the case, a lot of Paladin strategies might build around the concept of building a huge wide board presence. But after all my experience with playing Arena and seeing how powerful some of the AoE is out there, I said, you know what? Let's try going the complete opposite direction. So in this deck, I called it the Paladin Power Deck, where instead of building out, I'm building up. And the angle that I'm trying to approach this from is obviously there's things like silence that exist in the game where you might have constructed this huge monstrosity and then they silence it and then they make you cry. However, most decks are only going to have so much silence. And if I can actually generate enough threats on the board that I've either pulled out all their premium removal or burned away all of their silence, by the end of the game I'm going to have something that's left that's just destroying them. And I kind of built some tiered strategies based off of that concept. So where I can kind of assemble these machines and then make them work until my opponent has a response, and then assemble another machine and then make that work. And then so in order to support those kinds of concepts, I wanted to make sure I had, number one, an early game so that I can sort of stabilize. But unfortunately, from playing this deck, I think one of the weaknesses is this early game is a little bit weak. So there's your in there, Josh. If you can get ahead, I'm in trouble.
Oh, that's what this deck does, buddy.
I
You're
know.
in trouble.
Well, we'll see. If I have a decent opener, there's plenty of openers I've seen in this deck that can be just fine. And I've got sort of like a mid-range strategy where getting me through the middle of the game, I'm really hoping to get my Swords of Justice card drawn. Swords of Justice is a Paladin weapon, and basically it's a 1/5 weapon, which is kind of weak.
I think it's 1/4, isn't it?
It's 1/4 or 1/5, either one, something like that. But it does have this special ability that if I summon a minion, I lose a durability from the weapon, but the minion that was summoned gets +1/+1. So my hope is that usually, like if you see me playing Swords of Justice on like turn 4-ish, usually, well, I don't see my opponent, actually, but I'm expecting my opponent to start shivering a little bit because every single minion that I play for the next couple turns is going to be bigger than it's supposed to be. And that's going to sort of like either swing it back in my favor to recover from a slow start, or to like start, kind of steamrolling over them as I play through the mid game.
Yeah. Oh, it is a 1/5. You're right.
There you go. And then there is plenty of beef at the top end of this game. I can assemble very large machines at the end of the game. I have some huge creatures towards the top end of the curve that can like dig me out of serious problems towards the end of the game. With cards.
So is it fair to describe this deck as like a control deck? Like, 'cause that's kind of what it sounds like.
There is some control elements, right? So there is some removal. I tried playing. The Paladin doesn't have the greatest removal. Its removal is like pay 4 mana, deal 3 damage anywhere you want, and then draw a card, which is all great things to do. Dealing 3 damage is great. Drawing a card is great. Paying 4 mana is fine. But usually what you would like the Warlock, I compare that to the Warlock deck where there's Shadow Bolt and Soulfire and Hellfire and all sorts of different and like Drain Life.
All sorts of fire.
Yeah, Drain Life. All of these things are 3 or 4 mana, and they end up usually netting you a bigger win than a single deal 3 damage. It's not great, but it's designed to kind of launch you into that late game. So. As long as I can find minion targets that are less than 4 hit points, I think, 3 or less,
well,
I'll be fine.
You will have no problem finding that on a Hunter aggro deck. So this is interesting because your weak spot is early.
Yep.
The Hunter deck excels early, but late game I fall off, and late game you explode. It sounds like. So if I can't finish you early, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, if you're a little, what is it? Your secret that deals 2 damage to all my minions and stuff like that.
Explosive trap.
Yeah, that's a great trap. However, the only thing my hope is that the only thing that's killing off is my little 1/1s that are not a big problem.
Well, I'm going to use it to kill you at the end of the match.
There you go.
So
is that a challenge now?
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to finish you. I'm going to wait till I draw explosive trap. All right. So you already mentioned Sword of Justice.
Yep.
What are
cornerstones?
some of the other key cards?
Yeah. So most of the Paladin blessings are in this deck. I got a couple copies of Blessing of Kings. That's like sort of the card I was trying to build around, so I could build these huge monstrosities. There are so many good cards. Like the more I kind of had fun playing around with this deck, the more I realized that there's plenty of early or cheap minions, like the 3 costing minions that are great targets for Blessing of Kings. Things like you would think you may not even think of, like Demolisher is a fine card, right? It's a 3 mana 1/4 that does 2 damage randomly at the start of my turn. But if I can put Blessing of Kings on that, now it's a 2/8, and it's much harder.
It's more than 2, right? Blessing of Kings.
Or sorry, 5/8, right? So it's 5/8. So not only did I turn this into a huge beater, but now it's harder for my opponent to deal with it, and it's doing 2 free damage for me every turn. Or the Acolyte of Pain. He's a 1/3 for 3. That every time it takes damage, you draw a card. Well, if you slap Blessing of Kings on that, now you can take damage many more times and draw many more cards and just go off with it. Blessing of Wisdom. You guys actually you beat me to the punch because I had this huge debate at work with all the guys that I played Hearthstone with about if you had a card that said pay 1 mana, draw a card, would you play it? And you guys talked about this a couple episodes ago. And it was funny because when I was listening to the episode, I was like, I totally want to just insert myself into this discussion right now. But I would absolutely play a card like that. I would play as many copies as I probably could. I don't know if 2 copies are in my deck this particular time. But in a sense, that's the way I look at Blessing of Wisdom, is to say, pay 1 mana, draw a card. And anything that goes beyond that is going to be complete upside. My expectations are at the floor and saying, I'm only going to draw a card off this, but that's fine. And the reasoning for that with this deck for me is I've got plenty of stuff to ramp into, plenty of my hope is that anything after turn 4, every card I draw is going to be something that's going to be awesome. So I'm top decking pure value pretty much every turn. So that's really where I'm going for that. And on the occasion, I have seen crazy things happen where, a priest will play that 0/5, minion that has the attack equal to its power or equal to its hit points. So now it's a 5/5, and I'll slap Blessing of Wisdom on that, and they're like, I don't want to attack anymore.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just crazy. I don't know if that's the right decision, but it sure is awesome when they do that. So stuff like that. So all the blessings are great.
All right.
Faceless Manipulator is sort of like my second layer to the onion there. Like if I can build any sort of monstrosity and top deck Faceless Manipulator and copy it, now it's hard for me to lose after that
Yeah,
point.
it's essentially like you've copied a minion and 4 spells. It's all like beefed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then on top of those things, I wanted a lot of minions with what I call innate threat. So like Wind Fury Harpy, he's I think 6 mana 4/5 with Wind Fury, right? So he becomes like a serious problem when he hits the board, and he's gonna pull out an important removal card from my opponent, or he's gonna have to be forced to make unprofitable trades. There's just no way around that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start doing the beatdown with him. Flesh Eating Ghoul is like my signature at the office. Like everybody knows I love this card to death. I've gone off with Flesh Eating Ghoul way too many times. I have ways to protect him with taunt creatures. I have ways to protect him with Argent Protector to give him Divine Shield, giving him one more chance to survive. And this guy gets so huge. I've done some awesome stuff. And again, my opponent usually ends up panicking and having to use premium removal for it. Stuff like that. And then at the end, the top of the curve, I have those big beefy guys. I have a couple of legendaries that I've opened that were exciting, and Guardian of Kings. So
nice. Don't even tell me the legendaries. I want to be surprised.
It's so awesome. I actually got to dupe one of them with Faceless Manipulator in one of the games, and I was just laughing so hard.
So good. All right. So I feel like we're ready to battle. I feel ready to fight you.
Ouch.
So that's the deck. Like I mentioned earlier, so that's Derek's deck. That's what he's going to be playing. I'm using the Hunter Beastmaster deck designed by Dan, or at least, as close of a version as I can build with the decks I have, or the cards I have, which I have a lot of cards by now, so it's closer than it was at the start.
Okay.
So it's already held off 3 challengers to the throne. Before we go into this, Derek, I want to know. Honesty time.
All right.
Confidence level between 1 and 10, with 10 being there's no way you can lose, and 1 being there's no way you can win. How are you feeling about this?
Well, obviously, the deck is probably not going to match up against the Hunter deck, and it depends on the draw. Like if I can.
I need a number, Derek.
All right,
That's
number is going to be. I'm feeling like a 6.
6? All right. We're going to go play the best of 3 series right now, which you can watch in its entirety on our show notes on GameDiplomat.com or on our Twitch channels. I'll put a link in the show notes to that as well. We're going to be right back. All right, guys, we are back. We just played our best of 3.
Best of 2.
Best of 2. And Dan, my goodness. Dan is apparently some sort of deck-building savant, because it has once again won. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this deck has even lost. I think it's gone 2-0 every single time now.
Wow.
This is incredible. So, Derek, buddy, what happened?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a good deck, and my deck does not match up well against it. I probably should have taken that into consideration. It's frustrating because this deck has done this to me before, where it's ready to unleash, but then it falls short. And in game 2, so I guess to summarize for everyone out there, so we played 2 games. I lost both games, and they were kind of close-ish, but like they were closer than than my opponent might actually realize. They're what's left in my hand is just so much good stuff. I just need to find a way, I think, to make this deck work. I need to find a way to survive better in the early game, and then it might work out. So maybe I need to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, because like on the last turn on our second game, you threw out you had some 9/8 monster on the board, but at that point I stopped caring because you were already close to lethal. So it's like I don't even have to worry about removing your threat because I can just keep punching face.
Yeah, I mean the trick that is what I'm not used to as much is, I guess maybe I don't see that in Arena as much, is that when I'm below 15 health, which is only half my health pool, right?
Yeah.
I'm in lethal range. There's enough, if there's a couple minions on the board, your hero power, there's lots of charge in your deck, and Unleash the Hounds and all those kinds of things that can that is the nod to Dan for making such a nice deck, is that for folks that can't see that coming, they can get hit for 15 damage on the final turn, and they're like, dang it, if only.
Yeah.
Which definitely was happening to me. But I mean, I have so much. I probably misplayed in game 2. So towards the end, to kind of give the listeners a little bit of a recap of there, is that in my hand I still had Avenging Wrath, which could have potentially cleared up the board a little bit, which I probably should have done. I thought I had one more turn before I needed to cast that off, so I wanted to build my big guy and then cast Avenging Wrath the next turn. To then clean to continue to maintain board state. And then the other thing I had in my hand that I could have played instead was Guardian of Kings, which is a 5/6 minion, but he heals me for 6, which would have given me that extra turn that I think I needed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are you running any Holy Light or anything to give you heals at all, other than Guardian of Kings?
I'm not. I when I originally looked at that, I decided against it because generally speaking, I tend to avoid a card that just heals me. I feel like it's not doing enough on its own to earn the card spot. Obviously, healing for 6 or 8 or whatever it is a decent amount, but as you can see, you just on the final turn in that game, I think you hit me between 13 and 15 damage, something like that.
Yeah, I hit you for 15.
Right,
yeah.
So that's half my. I mean, I'm only at, in my mind, I'm only at half dead, but really that's not really the case, because towards the end of the game, healing for 6 or 8 almost is it's not even a full turn, as you can see.
Yeah.
So, maybe more taunt might have helped. I mean, the other downside is that I don't think I drew any of my Grizzly Bears, the 3/3 Grizzly Bears, which is a nice way to get taunt out in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And in game 1, I was setting up a whole bunch of stuff, but that multi-shot, 2 times multi-shot was just, that's gotta be a cornerstone of a hunter deck. That is such a tempo swing where they finally get something and they lose it. Even if it's random, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, multi-shot is actually kind of, it's almost fallen out of favor. Most people are only running 1 right now, but I am a huge fan of multi-shot. That especially against non-aggressive decks like yours. Because you're not playing a ton of minions, so killing 2 of your minions is a big deal, because that's a lot of times what you have on the board.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, outside of that, did you feel like you drew pretty well? I did see you got your I'm totally blanking
Sword
on
of
the name.
Justice?
Not the skeleton dude, the eats.
The Acolyte of Pain.
No, Flesh-Eating Ghoul.
Flesh-Eating Ghoul, yes.
So you did get Flesh-Eating Ghoul, which that's your trademark card, so you got that one at least once.
Oh, but he silenced him immediately, so...
Yes, I did.
There was a lot of taunting and threatening going on, and retribution desiring, so...
So what else did you... So what do you think about how the deck played? Do you think it could perform better?
Well, I think... I mean, if I really were to tweak the deck, I would need to go back and find a little... Well... Against like the rushiest decks out there, right? Like the hunter deck and others, I would probably need to make sure I have more ways to fiddle with the beginning of the game, so I can just get to the end of the game where all my cards are going to win. I think I need either more taunt or better I need to find better removals. Worst case scenario, I mean, I've seen all sorts of mishmashes in the beginning of the game for me, because like one of the things that I love to do in this game with this deck is to have one of my 1/1 stick around because they don't seem that threatening, and then throw Blessing of Might on them, which gives them 3 attack, and then now they can kill an X4, and that's usually killing something useful on turn 4. If they pull down anything that's of use, usually 4 damage will clear out some serious threat. But some way to kind of launch me better in the end of the game would be how to refactor this deck. There is a card that says, hey, you give adjacent minions taunt. Maybe I need to play that. There's I mean, I don't think I ran horribly. In game 1 I was actually very excited because I got Sword of Justice down on turn 3 or turn 2 or 3 maybe. And so it was going to start making everything I made bigger, but multi-shot ruled the day on that game. So.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
But I had fun.
I was good. I was surprised at because I usually hold on to Unleash the Hounds until I can get a Starving Buzzard in my hand too, right? Because that combo is so good.
Yeah.
I was surprised in both these games, Unleash the Hounds was extremely useful on its own. Where usually when I look at that card, I think, okay, this card is bad, but other cards make it good, like Scavenging Hyena, Starving Buzzard, that sort of stuff makes it good. But this was the first time in a while that Unleash the Hounds felt good on its own. Like I was so face punchy because I knew that if I went to like turn 10, you would win.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, 3 more damage, and since you didn't have AoE removal, you either have to taking 3 more damage every turn, or waste all your turns trading with 1/1s.
Yep. See, another option I could is I had it actually in my, I guess, pseudo sideboard where when I built my deck, I had listed out some cards that I thought could also go in this deck if you don't have some of the cards I have. Is True Silver Champion. Like I see this card a lot when I'm playing an arena, and I'm assuming it's just fine and constructed too. But again, I don't play that much. But being able to remove an X4 and still healing for some of the damage you're going to take on the backswing, that card can help control the board early game as well, which may be a nice way to keep my health total a little bit better, keep minions off the field a little bit better. It's like I like to think of the weapons as charge creatures, right? Because you can attack the same turn they get played, kind of thing. So which is usually like something that it's hard for your opponent to see coming.
Yeah, so True Silver Champion is in your sideboard?
Well, if there was such a thing in Hearthstone, it would be one of the first options that I'd be looking at to try and help stabilize me early on, because not only does it come down with charge effectively, it removes minions from their early game, anything that's got 4 health, which is pretty much everything that's coming down in the early game, as well as healing me for 2 to kind of mitigate some of the damage I'm going to take from that swing, which may be all of it in some cases. Which is enough, and that could have turned the tide, I think. Even on like a 1/4 Silverback Patriarch, right? The True Silver Champion is going to excel in that type of situation, where I get stuck and now I'm not stuck. So, wonder what would happen in Game 2. Game 2 was interesting because I feel like if I would have brought down my guy that heals me, maybe that would have changed things a little bit, or if maybe I would have played Avenging Wrath and just cleared up the board, that probably would have been the best play. And I was getting greedy. And
I understand.
That's what happens.
It's easy to do. Yeah. I'm wondering what you think about running Equality in that deck, because Equality feels really good to me, and it's pseudo removal.
So I tried Equality. Actually, one of the things the day that I was deciding what to do with my deck or what to build and play in the event, I happened to, I think I either leveled up or I opened in a pack a golden version of Equality. I'm like, I guess I'm playing Paladin.
It's a sign.
And I played it in my deck, and I couldn't. It wasn't. I don't know. The tea leaves weren't. I wasn't reading the tea leaves for that one. I mean, I'm sure it does good things, and I've been in arena matches where they play Equality, and I'm like, gah. Yeah. That sucks. And like my big monstrosity or whatever I've been building on my side is now killable by an X1 or a 1X. Sorry. And stuff like that, and I'm just like, I tried to make it work, and I played probably about 3 or 4 games, and it just wasn't happening. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna try something, go a different direction. and that's where I came up with this thing. It's got some promise. I know there's been plenty of games where it's done awesome work. So I think I just need to figure out how to set myself up for maybe I have to play some of those healing cards just to let me stick around longer.
Yeah.
And get me into the late game.
Yeah. I will say too, the one card that kind of caught me off guard as being so valuable this time as well was Tundra Rhino. Tundra Rhino in most games doesn't last a single turn. But I think because your deck is a little light on removal, the Rhino was able to stick on, and then not only is he charging, but then, like when I drop down Iron Beak Owl to silence your guy, that's just a free extra 2 damage I can throw out there.
Yeah.
That surprised me how valuable the Tundra Rhino. Between Tundra Rhino and Multi-Shot, I feel like those cards won me both of those games pretty much.
Yeah, screw multi-shot. Now I have to build a hunter deck and around multi-shot. No.
Do it. See, I know. See, and that's what like almost all the guests say is like after like they get beat by this deck, like God, now I got to go build this deck so I can play it. Because it's so good, Dan.
I would like
to.
Yeah, I would. At some point in the future, we'll have to. I do have a different deck that probably matches up better, just to kind of try it out. I have a mage control deck, so it's not a Seekers deck that was like played against you before, but a mage control deck. And that has been consistently winning against most matchups that I've played in. So
okay, yeah. So I want to reassure people because I talked with this at the end of my stream as well. Adam Clegg, who's been a guest on the show several times, actually was talking with a pro player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
Okay.
Because Adam told me which one it was, but I don't remember. But he's talking with a pro player recently about this and maybe coming on the show and doing a deck battle.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm thinking I got to bring on this pro player because if anyone is going to dethrone Dan's deck, because at this point it's getting outrageous, Dan.
It's out of hand. This is out of hand.
Come on, he's had half a year at the top. Somebody has to beat this deck. So I'm thinking, now is the time I think to reach out to this pro player, get them on the show with their amazing, crazy decks. So I think that may be our plan for next time.
Yep. There you go. So all he needs to do is just, do you archive your Twitch stuff? He could just watch your archives and then he'd be like, holy crap, I need to be watching out for multi-shot. Holy crap, I need to be able to watching out for all these charged minions.
So are you implying that you didn't go back and look at any of these episodes, Derek?
No, I haven't. I didn't do any research on it.
Derek,
well,
rookie mistake, buddy. Rookie mistake. It's out there.
It is. I wasn't. I didn't want to like. Well, the thing is, like, if I won tonight, I didn't want to say, well, I can beat a 100 rush deck. I wanted this deck to kind of stand on its own and that kind of stuff. So if it happened to get lucky,
yeah, that's how I can respect that. That's probably how I would build a deck too. Like I'd want to play the deck that's my favorite, not necessarily the deck perfectly constructed to destroy.
The current champion.
Deck.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can respect that, Derek. But tell me, Derek, any last thoughts on your deck, or do you still think people should make it?
Whatever. I'd love to, like, if somebody takes a look at it and says, oh, just swap this for that and this for that and this for that, and then you're set. I mean, obviously they can see, if they watch the archive, they can see what was in my. Actually, they won't be able to see what was in my hand. I had like Deathwings coming, and I had Avenging Wrath coming. I had all these like big things ready to go. I just needed a little bit more to launch me in the end game. So if I was more, I guess, seasoned at actually deck building constructed decks, which I'm not. I will openly admit that. I only play drafts in Magic, and I only play Arena in Hearthstone. but yeah, it's whatever. It was fun. It was exciting, and I was hoping to win, but realistically speaking, I was realizing that this is not my game, baby.
Yeah, I still think I like your deck. It's fun. It's a cool twist on the current Paladin meta, because the Paladin control meta is struggling right now, so it needs to kind of re-find itself, and this is kind of a cool twist on it. It's a little more just kind of go pure value minions rather than looking for specific synergies.
Yeah,
and that's kind of fun. I like that.
It was fun. I mean, like in the games I've won, like for example, like I said, I have Ysera in this deck, and there was one game where Ysera was played and it was protected by a taunt creature, so they couldn't kill it. And they had lost all their removal previously in previous plays, and so the next turn I was able to copy it with Faceless Manipulator. So now I'm drawing 2 dream cards per turn.
Oh my gosh!
And like at that point, like I was telling my friends, I was like, even my father couldn't screw this game up at this point. Like stuff like that, like crazy stuff happens, and it's also Faceless sometimes. Actually, in the game earlier I was playing today, I was playing a druid deck, and they were ramping. They were playing their whatever their wild growth stuff is that gives them in innervates and stuff that gives them more mana faster, and they ramped into their 8/8 taunt guy, the big tree guy, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, Iron Bark Protector.
Yeah, there you go. And I was like, oh, okay, so now I can have one of those on turn 5. That's fine. That's fine too.
Perfect, yeah. And you didn't have to waste 4 cards getting there.
Exactly. And so then I was up on card advantage, and the rest was kind of history. But stuff like that can happen. I really like the ability to go off with Blessing of Kings and getting it on one of these big threats of like the Acolyte of Pain, or the Flesh-Eating Ghoul, or the Demolisher, or any of those kind of like cheaper early threats where I can get Blessing of Kings off and keep them around usually a lot longer than they normally stick around on their own. So
awesome.
But whatever, it was fun. I had fun. Thanks for the game.
I had fun too. I'm glad you're here, and I'd officially congratulate Dan on taking down his 4th deck.
Yep. Beat a rush deck, ladies.
Yeah,
that's what they got to do.
A rush deck, yeah. So, and I mean, come on, it's a ton of rush deck. If you're playing ranked at all, you'll have tons of experience against this. So, I don't know. If I can't get the pro player, I'm going to be calling out to the community, because someone out there listening right now, I know, is thinking to themselves, I have the perfect deck to beat that hunter deck. And if that's you, I want you to contact me if you want to be on the show. If not, then don't contact me. Or unless you just want to brag, that's cool too. But email me, ajosh@outlook.com, or on Twitter, @jaugustine. Derek, let's get into the community, because we've got a cool question this week.
All right.
I think. Richard sent in a question. He said, what is your favorite card to use that is not considered cool in the current or previous meta? So, I'm going first.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm hijacking this.
Nope, do it.
So, the first one has got to be Elite Torn Chieftain, right? It got played actually in the tournament over the weekend. Did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah, it got played in the tournament. They played the golden version, which is the version that I have, and it's the only reason I assume we're playing it for the same reason, which is you could only get the golden version from BlizzCon.
Ooh.
And so I like playing it because it's kind of a cool, like, I was there kind of thing. So I throw it down the board. It has an awesome spell effect, obviously. It's not a good card, right? No one is going to argue that it's a good card, but I like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's splashy, and it's like on the videos like they were showing about it, they were like, oh, wow, look at that. That'd be sweet. So.
Yeah, exactly. So what about you?
So what's the question? The question is what card is awesome that you don't see that often? Is that
basically, what's your favorite card that's considered bad in the current meta, or at least not good, right?
Okay.
So here, I got another one for you.
Okay.
Because this is one where it's kind of popular, but not super popular. Power Overwhelming.
Yeah.
The Warlock spell, where it gives it +4/+4, then it dies horribly. It's popular in kind of Warlock rush decks, but they usually run 1. Yeah. I just love this card. I mean, the card is like a gnome holding a canister of fire and a canister of like dark magic, like with the greatest evil cackle, like, it's just like some maniacal laughter going. It just looks so good. I like that card. It's fun.
There's all sorts of tricks I've seen with some of these weird Warlock decks. Like, there's that Power Overwhelming where you can say make something huge and have it swing, and it's gonna die horribly at the end of turn, but you could silence it, and then it doesn't die. You could, so like if you happen to have a Wind Fury minion down and you give it power, +4/+4, you swing for 16 damage or whatever it might be, and then just silence it to bring it back to to keep it on the board. All sorts of crazy stuff that I've seen, where you can play that card, make somebody huge, swing to the face, and then use there's another Warlock spell that says sacrifice a minion and deal its power to all your enemy minions.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can pump something up to like 8/8, hit them in the face with it, and then use it to destroy itself to clean their board up. Like nothing sweeps the board for 8 damage per minion.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like
flame.
Yeah, like that is just like you can, and then you don't care. You're like, okay, whoop-de-doo. I was gonna lose that guy anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Power Overwhelming is fantastic card.
Yeah, there's just so much like I love cards that I look at and I just start thinking of all these fun, like, of course it's like corner cases, right? Like you're not always gonna have that combination, but I like seeing a card and thinking of all these cool cases that I could potentially do.
Right.
So I actually talked with Adam, who I mentioned earlier, about this,
yeah.
And he mentioned one of my other favorite cards that's not considered very good, the Kidnapper.
Kidnapper.
So
Let's see.
it's a rogue epic. It's a minion, so rogue only.
Okay.
And it's a 6 mana for a 5/3 with a
Mm.
combo effect. Return a minion to its owner's hand.
Okay.
Where
It's got
first
some
of all, come on, flavor. He's kidnapping someone. That's awesome.
But but he's giving them back to your opponent. It's like kidnap and then drop them off at their house.
Yeah. Hey, we got our ransom. That's all we needed. We're being fair. We're not murderers. We're just taking our ransom and giving him back. That's
He's
fine.
the
Pay
friendly
for him
kidnapper.
again.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
it is paying ransom because they have to pay for him again to
There
get him
you
on the
go.
field.
There you go.
Booyah. But yeah, so like
Flavor
Adam
Central here.
loves this card basically because he thinks everyone hates him, but they don't realize the potential of like a tempo bounce play. Which it's true. There's not a ton of like tempo bounce outside of Rogue in Hearthstone, if any.
Yeah.
And I love that card. Kidnap everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's cards that bring minions back to your hand, like all those pandas and stuff. But it's it's rare to find cards that give you the option to use that on your opponent's card if you get stuck, where they dropped a critical taunt in front of you that you need to get rid of or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
You buff something up. So I don't know too many cards like that, but I do know cards that my son has talked about. And
do share.
So like as feverishly infatuated I am with these games, that has certainly rubbed off on my son, and now he's playing Hearthstone too, and he can't stop talking about it. It's like he's talking about it more than I'm talking about it, which is saying a lot. And so there's certain cards in the game that he absolutely loves, and I'm just like not sure those are good. But he's like, are you kidding me? It's hilarious. It's like he loves the Wisp. He's like, Dad, it's 0 mana.
0 mana.
It's 0 mana, and I'm like, it's a 1/1. There's plenty of other ways to do that.
It's literally free, Dad. Come on.
It's like, why wouldn't anybody put this in their deck? And then there was another one. He's tried to go off on Angry Chicken the other day, which is always a fun discussion.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much mana Angry Chicken is. Is it 1/1?
It's 1.
So it's a 1 mana 1/1.
1/1.
Right, where it has Enrage plus 5 damage.
Yep.
And he's trying to come up with these crazy scenarios, like, hey, if I played this in a priest deck and then I did, so and he starts mixing all these things together. He's like, I could give it buffs and I could double its health and then I could have it Enrage and then poof, it's doing damage, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So he's all in on the Wisp and he's all in on the Angry Chicken.
Dude, I love it. You got a little theory crafter right there.
It's awesome. He's more of the Johnny than I am.
Yeah.
I'm not a Johnny player. So
that's
good.
awesome. All right, so no answer from you, but your son is technically now a guest on this show, so that's good.
Exactly. He'll be excited. He listens to the show as well, so he'll be excited.
All right. What's your son's name, if you don't mind?
No, that's fine. That's fine. His name's Brandon.
Brandon. All right,
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm on board with your Angry Chicken theory. I'm not going to lie, because I've been playing a lot of Priest recently, and I'm playing the Priest deck that's all about buffing health and doing the flip with Inner Fire and all that sort of stuff. And a part of me is like, I want to try Angry Chicken. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe if Brandon says so, maybe I got to try it out.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get into our iTunes reviews.
Okay.
Gax78 says, get slapped with some knowledge.
Boom.
5 stars. Boom. Get
Smack.
slapped.
Smack.
And then he says, he's very aggressive here. He says, hey, you, looking for a podcast that's going to drop some knowledge on you while having a good time? Well, then look no further, because the Happy Hearthstone has for what you need. Great insight into cards and modes of play. My arena wins have doubled by listening to this
Look at that.
podcast. This is an infomercial
It's a
for our show
2-for-1.
right now. My arena wins have doubled by listening to this podcast. Thanks, guys.
It's a buy
and keep up
2
the
get 1
good
free.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Order now.
Exactly.
And he says, find me on Battle.net. He is Kid Vigilante, spelled just like you would think.
Yep.
And then Black Entropy wrote in, happy dudes, 5 stars. Good shows, especially the more technical ones, on how to improve your game. Keep them coming, please. We
Sweet.
absolutely will, Black
Yes.
Entropy. Thank
So
you guys
watch out.
for the kind
Here's
words.
a tip. Watch out for
Yeah.
multi-shot. There you go.
Watch out for... Be afraid of multi-shot at every opportunity. It doesn't matter if you're playing a hunter.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, can I say something that really bothered me last
Okay.
night? So I was playing Rogue, because that was my daily, was to win with Rogue.
Yep.
So I was playing my Rogue deck, and I don't really like my Rogue deck. I built that Rogue deck around Conceal, right, trying to build a full aggro deck, but I don't have the cards for a Miracle Rogue deck. So it's like this really bastardized deck that's just not very good. But I was trying to play it, and I was playing against a priest, and he used Mind Vision, where he takes 2 of my cards. I play some big beefy dude, and I'm finally getting excited. He plays my 3/4 weapon and Deadly Poison, and then hits me for 5. And I'm like, really? Of all the 2 cards in my set, you get the 2 cards that like synergize perfectly? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I got Deadly Poison and something else. No, you got the weapon and the thing that makes the weapon better?
Oh,
wow, I can't even draw that, and the priest is drawing it?
Yes.
It was very weird to have a priest swing me in the face with a weapon. That was a new experience.
That's crazy. I mean, you can imagine, what if he only got Deadly Poison and then some other card, right? That's basically a dead card in his hand.
Yeah, there was a post on Reddit actually this morning which made me laugh because it was a priest who did Mind Vision and he got Deadly Poison and Blade Flurry.
There you go.
Both of which require a weapon to use, and then he just cried. Yeah, but then of course the first comment was someone was like, well, come on, if you're playing Twilight Drake, those are still good cards. And like, okay, buddy.
Oh my. That's a positive thinker right there.
That is. That's like bordering delusion, but yes, technically that does help the Twilight Drake. Yes, okay. So anyways, Black Entropy, Gax78, thank you guys for the kind words. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the more technical episodes and seeing some wins with the arena. The episode with Scott Lance, I've had a couple people, which I think is the one probably Black Entropy is referencing, because that was the most technical one. A lot of people have written in and said they like that one. So if you like a particular type of episode, let us know. If you like deck battles, if you hate deck battles, if you like technical, you hate technical, let us know so we can do more shows that you like.
Yep.
All right, Derek.
What?
It is time, my friend, for you to sing.
Let's do it.
I want you to sing to me. Go.
Like sweet and sultry, or
you sing however you want. I'm not going to demand how you sing. I just demand that you do sing.
All right. Okay. That's how it goes on this show. That people come on and they're all excited, and then they find out that they're stuck doing karaoke by the end of the night. It's a good day.
I let you pick your own song though. I just have a couple lyrics that need to be thrown in there.
Right. No, I will say I will hedge this and say that all the weeks prior that we've been doing all of the write-ins and stuff like that. That should have been awesome. It's great to see the community kind of get excited and like kind of build their own songs, even if they were doing it to try and get a beta key. You know, it was still like cool to hear like all the different, like whether it's somebody writing like their James Taylor version of like Happy Hearthstone, or whether it's some rap song that I can't even remember. Like, it's just like awesome stuff.
Spazzy, dude, that was amazing. He recorded himself and then sang over it.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
I'll keep putting the ones that were sent in at the end of the show. I want to get guests singing again because I think it's so fun. So I'm gonna have the guests sing the song, but I'll keep tossing those at the end of the show so we can hear them all.
Well, so I'm gonna continue the tradition with my catchy tune of Hearthstone songs. So card of the week, here it is, it's the card of the week. Here it is, it's the card of the week. Card of the week.
I like it. It's like a higher octave remix.
Right. Oh, it's so catchy, the little intro song and stuff like that. It is. You can't beat it.
So this is bad news because the last time you sang this song, my wife and I were singing your version of the song for like 3 weeks.
I hope this guy isn't mad at me.
No,
He's
every
like,
time Jenna would just be like,
my song.
"Oh, come on, stop it now," because she'd like catch herself singing it.
See, you know what, Josh? You can do. You know what I can do? You can take that song to your child that's coming, and you can make it a lullaby song.
It's the card of the week. It's the card of the week.
If that song calms them down, then you owe me money.
All right, that's a deal. I'm gonna wait to see if it actually does calm him down. And if my baby's first words are "card of the week," Jenna will stab me. So just throwing that out there. So I'll have to tone it down maybe a bit. I'll just sing it when she's not watching.
There you go.
Card of the week. All right.
You've already corrupted your child. That's great.
I'll start whispering it into her stomach.
Yeah,
tonight.
there you go.
All right, so let's get into the actual card of the week.
All right.
It is the Blessed Champion. This is a 5-mana Paladin spell, and it's pretty straightforward. Double a minion's attack. Now, I think I've only seen this card played one time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like where do you find these cards? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, these are cards that I want opinions on. Because a lot of times the cards I pick, I'm not going to do, well, we have done Harvest Golem before, but it's kind of obvious everyone likes Harvest Golem. These sorts of cards, like, to me it seems kind of super situational. It's overcosted, I think, at 5. I don't know. Is there a Paladin deck? Now that, since you have built a Paladin deck, was this in your deck?
No, so 5 mana, double the minions attack. Okay, so if I don't read the mana cost, I look at the card's text and it says double the minions attack, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, that feels like something that makes my deck even more powerful. If I've been able to assemble that third machine that they've since burned all their removal, they've lost all their board state, and I potentially might even close the game out on the minion that I give this to. That's great. And then I look and I say, 5 mana. Ugh, this card's a D-, maybe F+. Like, I can't play it at that kind of costing. It would just be like, I can give a minion a guaranteed 4 damage and 4 hit points with a card that costs 1 less than this. Yeah. This could do more, certainly, but like, I think at that point you're into the living the dream or the white chocolate fantasy, whatever you want to kind of like euphemism you want to make up, that it's never going to do better than a Blessing of Kings. It's usually going to do worse because it's not buffing their hit points. So, yeah, this card, I would give it probably an F+.
Yeah, because like at 5 mana, you're competing with Azure Drake, Faceless Manipulator, Gadget Zan Auctioneer, Venture Co-Mercenary, which you said, like, and those cards are going to be good no matter what's on the board.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. Yeah, 5 mana. So what mana would this have to be for you to give it a B rating?
My first gut reaction is how much mana is the priest card that doubles a minion's health?
2.
Right? So why in the world? This is 5? Maybe it needs to be more expensive than the double a minion's health card from priest, but it doesn't need to be 2.5 times more. So I would say to give it a B, it's going to need to be 3.
Yeah, I think 3 is actually a pretty good number for this. I feel good at this at a 3, especially because, unless I'm mistaken, it's a rare.
Yeah, it's rare. Yep.
Okay, it's rare. Yeah, and rare should be solid. A 5 mana rare should be a card that you are very happy to play.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. If it can't fit, I think your deck is probably the deck that's best suited for it. So if your deck can't even play it, there's not a deck out there that's going to be playing this card. All right. So, wah, card of the week is loser of the week.
Oh. If now the Blessed Champion is going to go home and cry.
It's okay.
Oh, no.
It's like some weird person. Oh, no. Oh, it's like a dwarf. Female? She's got sweet hair.
She's an interesting pose there. It looks like she's...
I thought it was someone's. I thought it was someone's hands on her shoulder, but that's actually her gigantic shoulder pads.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about the pose, though. But I know your kid's listening to the show, so I'm not going to point it out. But hey, why don't you guys go check out Blessed Champion, see what's going on?
I'm sure like the Hearthstone website's getting hit right now, and like, everybody's looking it up, and be like, what is it? What is it?
What is it? Yeah. Oh man, Blessed Champion. It looks like she's wearing like purple eyeshadow too. It's kind of weird.
Either that or I think it's the lighting effect. It's darker on her face.
Oh, maybe her eyes aren't blessed. Her hands are clearly blessed.
There's lots of blessing going on with her hands. Yeah, that's for sure.
Almost too much blessing. Come on.
Now they're really looking this up. That's the whole point of the card of the week now, is to just taunt them into searching on the internet for these cards.
Yeah. Oh wow. What is she not wearing? What?
Exactly.
There you go. All right. So, all right. I'm feeling good about this show, Derek. I think we've got a good show here.
Let's wrap this up. This is good.
All right. So we're gonna have full show notes along with links to my side of the live stream, a full deck list for Derek's list, which is gonna be cool. So you can see all the cards he would build, why he put them in the deck, and cards that he would swap in. So if you want to check it out, and maybe Derek, if you're not opposed to it, if people want to even give suggestions about what they would change, maybe to try and specifically take down the Hunter deck or just kind of tweak it in general.
Oh, please do. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, please. Feel free to taunt. Feel free to tell me how bad I am. But it also would help if you include oh, by the way, you forgot this card.
Yeah.
The taunting is fine, but I need some help.
Yeah, and please do that, because even if you don't think that we care, which we do,
Yep.
Other people are going to be going to this deck list and maybe trying to build it. And if you have an idea for those people that are going to try and build it, toss it in the chat or toss it in the comments so people know. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
All right, that's all on GameDiplomat.com. Just swing by there, click on Hearthstone at the top. You'll get all the good stuff. And then next week on this show, I think we're going to go back to the best free deck series. So we're going to do that and then do another battle deck episode after that one. So I'm not sure what classes we're going to do next for the best free decks. So let me know if you want to see one in particular. If you have a friend that's jumping in trying to get that Hearthstone mount for WoW, and just needs some wins, let us know what classes they're playing. I had one suggestion for Mage because that's the class that most people start with because that's what the tutorial puts you through. So I think we may do Mage next week. But if you want a different class in there as well, let us know. And I finally, after 6 months, I finally did a follow-up episode to my Lore Library episode, or podcast, which is about the lore of League of Legends champions. This one is about Heimerdinger, the goofy inventor with the biggest hairdo in all the lands. So if you're interested in League of Legends at all, please go check that out. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, League of Legends. Oh my gosh, that game. I played that when I think it was still in beta, and I was like, wait, this game is free? I don't get it. How is it free? This game is way too fun. I had started playing some of the Dota stuff in the Warcraft 3 engine and all that kind of stuff just for fun on the side. Mm-hmm. And then League of Legends came out. I'm like, somebody just realized they should just make this into a game. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah, like in hindsight, it seems obvious, right? But that Dota was out for years and nobody even tried.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, they didn't realize the popularity, and then they were like, let's just make it a game. And then they realized they could actually make some money off of it, and then it turns into the most powerful and popular player versus player computer game of all time. And I'm like, somebody dethroned StarCraft? What?
Yeah. This is like not even close. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like it's the typical rags to riches story of computer games, right?
Yeah.
It starts off as a Warcraft 3 mod, and now it's ruling the universe.
And I gotta say, so I've been playing League of Legends since beta, like you. It finally paid off in the workplace. Other than getting me the job at PC Gamer and all that sort of stuff, right? So other than that, actually, sorry, I didn't get the job at PC. I got the job at PC Gamer because I played WoW.
Right.
But I kept the job at PC Gamer partially because of League of Legends. But anyways, so I moved to the EverQuest Next team at SOE. For people that don't know, I've said it several times. I work at SOE. I used to work on the original EverQuest as a game designer. And just last week, I moved over to EverQuest Next, which is the new game we're building, Landmark and all that stuff where you can destroy the world, actually destructible terrain. Cool stuff, right? So my very first day I went over there, I interviewed with my new boss, kind of getting orientation. And before the end of the interview, he was like, oh, do you play League of Legends? I was like, yes. Like, trying to figure out how this is relevant. Like, okay, what game design theories from League of Legends can I apply to EverQuest Next?
Your mind's like flying.
Yeah. and he's like, oh, man, I got to tell Michael. And I'm like, what? So he goes out there, and then, like, I start setting up my desk, right? I'm nervous because there's, like, a whole bunch of people I haven't met yet. And then some guy walks over and is like, I hear you're, like, a pro at League of Legends. I'm like, what? No, I'm not a pro. I didn't say that. And so
that's how stories begin, Josh.
I know. They play every day at lunch. And so we played today, and I picked Wukong Jungle, and I destroyed. And I felt so good, and now I'm like, I'm automatically a member of the team now. Like, I'm part of the team, guys. I did it. We won.
That's awesome.
So that was good fun. All right, anyways, enough about me playing Wukong and being awesome. Although all that did happen. You can send us feedback, please, on anything. I am at jaugustine. Email me directly, ajosh@outlook.com, or go to our Google Plus community. We want to know what you thought of the show, and we want to talk with you about cool cards. So go in there and talk with all the aforementioned people. All right. Thanks for being on the show this week, Derek.
Dude, it's awesome.
It is awesome. I'm glad you're here. It's really fun having you on.
And if anybody does want to give me comments, I can check the website, but also you can tweet me. I'm on Twitter at RepayInKind, which is one of my favorite all-time Magic cards, which is probably would have done better for the cards that aren't that great, but I just absolutely love. So RepayInKind. It's awesome. Yeah. Look it up. It's sweet.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again, Derek.
Yep.
It's good having you. And thank you, everyone listening. Thanks again for visiting the Happy Hearthstone and having a little fun with us. We'll see you next time.
Do 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 do. No, sorry. Yeah. See you later. Bye bye.